Hey, what is up, YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the Gamesense MVP Wireless, and I'm going to say right off the bat, this mouse has not received nearly enough hype. This should be on the top list of anybody looking for a very solid claw mouse that is also wireless. I mean, the Fnatic Bolt has received so much hype, and that mouse was honestly a huge letdown. But you guys should give the GameSense MVP a shot, especially if you have like 19 by 10 centimeter hands and you're looking for a really solid claw mouse. But I'll get into the shape in a little bit. Let me first just start off and just get through the build quality real quick. On my copy, like there's a little bit of creaking when you really like flex the shell. It's really not an issue, especially when you're just playing. So it's honestly not a problem. The clicks are great. They are Kale 4.0s. One issue I do have though is that when I grip it, I wish the buttons were a little bit. They didn't. I wish that the seam was a little further back, because when I grip the mouse, my middle finger ends up very close to the seam, and it's very hard to click there, which is unfortunate. But it's something I got used to. It's so it may or may not affect you. The scroll wheel feels a little bit cheap, but it's tactile and it gets the job done. These side buttons are really big and they're great. And unfortunately, the coating picks up a ton of fingerprints. I don't know if you can see it well. Yeah, you can definitely see it on the camera. It picks up a ton of fingerprints, which is really, excuse me, which is really unfortunate. But thankfully, the coating is actually functional. In other words, it's pretty grippy when you get sweaty. So unlike the Fnatic Bolt, I mean, the coating is actually good. This is this is an example where I'd say functionality definitely trumps form, and I'm glad that the coating is actually pretty good on this mouse. But it can be improved for sure. I mean, the XM1R has a coating that does not pick up fingerprints and it is the grippiest shit in the world. So, anyway, that's enough about the coating. Let me talk about the skates. They are pretty smooth. Um, Unfortunately, have a little bit of XY deviation. It's not huge. It reminds me a little bit of the Burst Pro, but I mean, overall, the skates are fine. They're nothing spectacular, but they are pretty good. They feel a lot like Tiger Arc V2s, actually. But anyway, let me talk about the sensor and click latency real quick. I mean, they're fine. There's no issues at all. And the motion delay is like non-existent. It's a 3370. There's no issues there. So let me start talking about the shape, and I'm going to talk about why I think, like, I mean, it's a WMO clone, and the WMO is legendary. But I mean, I know there are some WMO diehard fans that probably haven't tried this mouse, but have looked at the changes that have been made to it and have written this off their list. And I really don't think you should write this off your list, because I mean, I have a WMO. I don't unfortunately don't have it, so I cannot do a clear comparison here. But just taking at face value, this shape is really good. Uh, First, let me start with the hump. I mean, the hump is like kind of a big affair that's in the middle. And for some reason, I generally like back humps just for the palm contact, but for some reason, the WMO hump is just, it's fucking perfect. Like, it just nestles into, you can drive it into the back of your palm, like right here, and it just provides so much stability. It is actually really good. And the back flare is just gradual enough where it feels really natural. I know on the Burst Pro, that mouse kind of bothers me a little bit because the back hump, it just like bulges out really fast. But something about the hump on this, man, it's like really nice. Um, the Unlike the WMO, the sides are more curved. They are curved inward. So for those of you that hate front flares, this may turn you off. For me, it doesn't bother me. The sides are still really straight, and from memory, I mean, it just feels like you're. It honestly feels like my ring finger gets a little bit more control, or it like forces more of an aggressive claw grip, which is my grip. So I don't have an issue with that. Uh, you might have an issue with that. I don't know. It all comes down to your preferred grip. Other grip styles, I mean, something like a straight right side might have issues with that flare, but it. And also, let me add that I think the button is high enough where it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, just keep that in mind. But what I love about this mouse is that like you get that palm contact in the rear, but you also get like it's pretty skinny in the middle, so you get a lot of control. My one issue, and it's not really an issue, it's just a minor nitpick with the design, is that I wish the buttons were a little bit lower on the mouse. They are higher than on the WMO by a little bit, And I wish they would be lower, especially when I'm switching between my XM1. I noticed that I just get a little bit less control when I switch off of the XM1. But yeah, honestly, the shape is really fantastic, and it is right. It's probably like my second favorite shape, third favorite shape, right up there with the XM1, and Viper Mini slash S2 slash Fanatic Bolt. Those shapes are all fantastic, and this is ranks right up there with them. And it's wireless. It's wireless. It's like 75 grams, which is like honestly, it's no issue. The sensor performance is flawless. The weight balance is good. It's fine. It's like a little bit back heavy, but it's no issue. And out of the box, the experience is really quite good. So I think this mouse is being heavily slept on. If you can pick one up and you have like medium to large hands, like I do, I can highly recommend it. Um, yeah, that's really all I have to say. And if you have any questions, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe.